Hey guys, welcome back to my poker vlog. My name is Tyler Docato, and in this episode we are playing at the beautiful Talking Stick Resort in Scottsdale, Arizona. We end up getting into some big pots right away. I don't want to spoil anything, so let's jump right into it, and thank you so much for tuning in. Alrighty guys, getting back into the swing of things, taking notes at the table as much as I can. We have Ace Jack offsuit in the big blind. We have $200 in our stack. We we buy in for $200. We're at Talking Stick. The game is a 300 spread limit. You could buy in from like $1 to $600, so you can get actually pretty deep. The button makes it $15. I'm in the small blind again with Ace Jack offsuit, and I bump it up here to $45. My buddy Tyler M is in the big blind. He's to the left of me, and he's going to be tanking here for a couple of seconds, and I'm just wondering about what he can have. He's probably thinking that I have a pretty good hand, because I don't think that he thinks that I would just raise his blinds too light. But I end up raising kind of light here. Ace Jack is definitely a bluff pre-flop, trying to take down that $15 on the button and or play a pot with just him. Unfortunately, Tyler M does end up making the call in the big blind, and that brings along the button as well. So we're looking to improve here on the flop if we can. Unfortunately for us, we do not improve at all, and it's a pretty bad flop. Queen to 4 deuce. The only card that hits our range is the queen. I'm not going to necessarily try to rep this into two people, especially being out of position. And I think pre-flop I can make it slightly larger out of position, maybe 50 or 55, and maybe the button or Tyler M doesn't call, one of the two. So we're going to be checking this flop around, check, check, check. The turn's a 5, so we add additional equity in a gut shot straight draw. I tried to lead out for $50. Unfortunately, that does not get the job done. Tyler M ends up calling, and then I believe the button goes all in for about $200, and by the time this all happens, I'm already snap folded. I'm just waiting to talk about the hand here in the video. But Tyler M ends up having pocket tens, and the button ends up having 4-5 offsuit. Not really sure why he raised 15 on the button with 4-5 offsuit and then continued versus a 3-bet, even though he's getting a pretty good price. I don't think I would do that. But hey, he ends up getting it in really good. Unfortunately for him, my buddy Tyler M spikes a deuce on the river and ends up taking it down. So he gets a little lucky there to spike a deuce, but let's on to the next hand. I just noticed, guys, I might sound a little bit nasally. I have really bad allergies right now just because of the season change. We're looking at ace deuce in the next hand in the hijack. We're going to bump it up over 3 limps to $16. I don't think this is a bad play at all. I think a suited ace in position, especially if you can get the button to fold, which the button was Tyler M. And I don't think he's playing too many hands today because he only brought a few $100s with him to play with. So we're going to be bumping it up here, and if we face any aggression from either Tyler M or the blinds, we're probably going to be folding here with ace deuce. But if it's a good price, you know me, I'll probably be a sucker for a good price and try to spike a flush. Unfortunately for us, we don't hit anything, but a little CBET of $15 takes it down on queen 9-3 with 2 diamonds. So we can definitely get called by worse hands like jack 10 of diamonds or even other flush draws and straight draws. So we're definitely looking to put some money in there because we have the backdoor club draw, backdoor wheel draw. In the next hand, we look down at ace-queen offsuit again. I think we have ace-queen a fair amount of times in this session, but I only recorded like 3 or 4 of them. They weren't really that important. We're going to be +2 here. One under the gun +1 limps in. We make it $15 over the limper. We don't like people limping in our games. If you're going to limp, you're going to pay a price to see a flop. I know people can try to use that to exploit me, but it's not important, really. I'm going to be raising a lot of good hands and a lot of bad hands. So we'll see what happens in the long run, but it's working out so far. Again, ace-queen offsuit. We only have one caller. It is a semi-aggressive player. I think that he's kind of mad at me for raising a lot. I've been raising to 15 a lot after someone limps into the pot. But queen 3-5 with 2 spades. I like that flop with ace-queen, especially when I have the ace of spades in my hand. We c-bet for $15, which is really small, and the button actually raises us to $45. So I'm thinking of hands that he could have. Obviously, he could have 3s and 5s, which would be heartbreaking, but he could have a lot of weird backdoor straight draws with some spades in his hand, stuff like that. So I'm going to make the call here every day with top pair, backdoor nut flush draw. I don't think there's any merit in folding for that price. We have only $30 to try to improve and or call down light. We have ace queen again with the spade, and the turn is a 4. Now this is a card that does kind of help our ace high range because you do turn equity in a gut shot straight draw. Again, we block the spades, so we're going to be check raising here. When this guy bets 60 into us, we're raising for all the money, 259 more. It's kind of a big raise. I do think there's a little bit of merit in raising smaller to try to get called by a weaker queen, but I'm just trying to get the money in here in case he has like a flush draw or a straight draw and a flush draw now. So we end up taking that down. He folds, and we're stacking up chips, and that's always good. So after losing a few small pots, we've chipped down to about $200 in our stack again. We have ace queen suited though, and we're in early position, I believe. I make it $15, and Tyler M calls to my direct left. He likes to mix it up with me for sure, but we try to stay out of each other's way for the most part, just because we're friends. But he's the only caller, so we're going to war this hand. We don't care what comes out. We're trying to take his money. We want those Tyler dollars, or maybe he wants our Tyler dollars. Who knows? The flop ends up coming out pretty bad for our specific hand on 10-3-6, but we have all the overpairs. We have all the sets of 6s and 10s. He has the sets of 3s, and we turn a queen, and we have the sets of those two. We have a lot of flushes here, but unfortunately, after a couple small bets on the flop and turn, I call a $75 bet from him on the river, and he has the audacity to show me the ace jack of hearts. So I show him the queen, showing that he sucked out a little bit. But hey, it's poker, can't really control what goes down at the table. We played the hand pretty standard though, so I would have done the same thing in his shoes. The next hand we have pocket 10s under the gun, red pocket 10s to be exact. We end up juicing it up to $15 here. And we're 3 ways to a flop with the button and the small blind. Queen 9-8, so we have a straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Not the worst flop, but we do check it around. The turn is a 4 of spades. I bet $20, and unfortunately for me, I get juiced up here by the button to $40. Min click. I don't really like min clicks in any game, but there is some merit to it because it does price a lot of people in with marginal hands, as it does here. I have a straight draw, I have a set draw, I have a bluff catch draw. I don't think this guy has much at the moment, but he could definitely have something on the river. I call 20 more, and sheepishly, when I check to him, he bets $100 on the river when a spade comes in, and I just need to be folding here. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but I need to be folding here almost all of the time without a strong hand. Because why would he turn the aggression on when a second spade comes in and then keep the aggression on when a spade comes in? When he is bluffing me in that situation, I am going to be losing a bit of value, but in this exact situation, it's a blatant, hey, I turned a flush draw and I got there on the river. So unlucky for us, this one's going to the bad guys. He shows 7-8 of spades. Played pretty well by him, I suppose. He kind of turned his hand face up, and I probably should have gotten away from that $100 river bet. So we add on for some more money because we're stuck now about $300 or $400. We have pocket 3s. It's a pretty good hand. My favorite hand, to be honest. This is, I believe, a whole orbit later. I'm under the gun again. I make it $13, and the reason I made it $13 opposed to $15 is because that's what everyone else was raising at the time. Earlier in the session, I was kind of setting the tone and raising it up a little bit bigger, but I've decided to tone it down because other people weren't playing the same way. Ace queen 3 with 2 clubs, so we smashed this flop. We're super happy. We're like the happiest you could be on a poker table. You raise under the gun, ace high flop with a 3. You don't have the ace, so other people can have weak aces to call you. We bet $10, and there's 2 callers. And on the 4 club turn here, we're definitely going to be slowing down. Our set turns into a semi-bluff catcher. I don't necessarily think anyone can just always have a flush here, but three ways, you always have to be kind of concerned that they made a flush. So we end up checking after the small blind checks to us. The button bets 40, and I don't think there's a lot of hands he'd be betting here for value that we beat. The only hand I can think of is ace 3 or ace 4, and we block ace 3 really, really, really bad. So I'm thinking he could have something like ace 9, ace 8, but would he be betting that when the 3 flush comes in? But he could be betting ace 9 or ace 8 with the 8 or 9 of clubs. I end up making the call here, though. We're not going to be folding for $40 when we can definitely boat up and get a big chunk of his stack if he has a flush already. But if you were wondering if he had a flush already and if he didn't have a flush already, the 7 of clubs comes on the river, so I almost certain that he has a flush. I bet $50 as a blocker bet. Unfortunately, it does not work. We get raised to 200. Just in case he had a really weak club, we would just get called. But he must have had a really good club because I believe he showed me the jack of clubs afterwards. So not the best outcome again. Unlucky to run a set of threes into a 4 flush board. We have 10 deuce offsuit in the big blind. There is a 7-way limp pot going on. We have a family pot. I believe maybe one person is sitting out actually. So almost a family pot. 10 deuce offsuit. The flop comes 10 8 5 with 2 spades. I lead for $5 because I have top pair. I don't know why else I did it. I just did. 5 callers though, and then the small blind raises to 20. So that's not, the best situation, but it's really a really small raise. So we're not going to go anywhere here for 20 bucks, so we're calling, and then the big blind is me, and then under the gun +1 calls as well. To the turn 3, we go check, check, check. No flush draws other than the spades here, so the 3 was not a spade. River is the king, is not a spade as well. Small blind $70, and we're just going to jam our stack in here for 170. I don't necessarily think that we're ahead, and there's a bunch of dead money out there, and I'm putting $100 on top of the bet, so he's going to have to call me with a pretty decent hand, something like a king or maybe 2 pair. Not exactly sure, so I think the only hands we lose to is the king high flush draw at this point. So my buddy Tyler Masterson, I believe, is under the gun, and he tank folds king deuce suited. So he had king deuce of spades, so he actually folds a king on the river, which is nice for me because he would have beat me if he called me. And then the guy who put $70 in originally snap folds his cards before Tyler can even get his into the muck after tanking for a while. So we end up scooping up a pretty big pot there. Brings us almost even on the day. We're only down about 150 bucks or something like that. And being down 430 to being only down like 150 or 200 is really good. And then the next hand we get into actually is going to be the hand of the vlog. So you're going to love that. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, back here. We have 4-3 of spades. I believe we're like +3 right here. So we're middle position. We really shouldn't be raising this hand, but we are almost unstuck. We're trying to get in there and mix it up. We make it $15 over a limp, and the button, which is the same guy who's a pretty decent player and has been playing a lot of hands, re-raises me to $45. I'm kind of debating whether I would call or not, but any reaffirmation that I needed, the small blind ends up making the call, so it kind of prices me in here to try to spike a nice hand and get paid because we are over 100 big blinds deep with both opponents. Maybe not the best call on paper, obviously, but we're going to try to get lucky here and get unstuck. Small blind calls, I call. We're going off to a flop 3 ways. We're definitely going to be checking over almost every flop unless we absolutely smash it with a flush when there is a lot of high cards out there. We flop a backdoor flush draw, an immediate pair, and an immediate straight draw. Not the worst situation with our specific hand, but we definitely still lose to a bunch of overpairs, even the weaker ones like 8s, 9s, and 10s. We end up both calling a bet here on the flop though from the button, so I'm still getting priced in here to draw. I don't think I'm getting the exact price, but I think with my implied odds, if I do spike a 3-4 spade or a 6 on the turn, we can continue. We turn a pretty good card. I wish it was a spade, but the button bets $100 after we check to him. So we have an up and down straight draw now with a pair. I don't think there's really anything else we can do. If we're going to win this pot, we're going to jam it all in right here. I wait a little while, and then I tell the dealer I'm all in. I look her right in the eyes, and the guy goes into the tank, which is good for us. We do not want to get called here in this situation. The only hand that we would ever want to get called with is like ace X of hearts that doesn't have a pair, or obviously like king queen of hearts, something like that. So we put our card protector on here, which is our trusty dusty loyalty card, and we're just trying to stay cool, calm, and collected. Again, guys, when you're all in, I don't engage in talking unless you're extremely comfortable that talking about the situation will not ruin any action or get you called when you are bluffing. So I don't like to talk too much while making a big value bet or a bluff because I don't want to give off any tells about this kind of stuff I say. We're just waiting here though. I don't mind letting him tank for a long time. I honestly think he's thinking of calling me down with something like ace high here, but he ends up asking me to show. I make him give me $1, so I add an extra dollar to the pot here. I show him the 3, and fortunately for us, he had absolutely nothing. He said that he wasn't paired up yet, and he just assumed that I had a pocket pair since I made the call for $45 pre-flop, but I did not. But I ended up making a pair and taking him to Paintown.
There's another one for giving me the heart, because I was gonna fold. Alright, checking my surroundings. I don't like talking when there's people in the parking lot. Alright, we're back at the Lone Butte now, guys. Talking stick went okay. We went down $400 really early in the game, and we crawl our way back up to making $60. So making $62 after losing 400 really early is a really good result. Wish we didn't get too unlucky in the beginning there or play as bad in the beginning there. I made a couple loose calls that I thought maybe were okay, but you know, you'd think someone doesn't have a hand and they do have it, so whatever, not a big deal. We're gonna go in here in Lone Butte. Looks like it's popping in there. There's like 6 games going right now. Sunday. It is no, it's Saturday. Saturday the 5th? Don't know. It's probably not the 5th. We're gonna get in there. We're gonna go play some cards. Hopefully it goes well. Peace.
Alrighty guys, this is vlog number 7. It is done. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. It is 2:30 in the morning. I'm extremely tired. I gotta work all day tomorrow. And if I can get off work early, I am gonna be going to a poker game. Thank you so much guys. We'll see you soon. Peace. Oh, like, comment, subscribe. I'll reply.